Have you ever been through a spooky situation where you go to remove your cooler, you look down in the socket, CPU's not there no more. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's in this hand. Well, if you've ever been through that situation where the CPU actually got stuck to the bottom of one of your coolers and you're looking for some type of fix to that, I think we have it. Stay tuned, don't miss this episode. So welcome back, guys, and today we're going to be looking at a product by a company called gelid or gelid. I'm going to put it right here. They've actually came up with a bracket that will hold the CPU in its socket, so whenever you go to change out your cooling solution, it just won't rip out of the socket. Is it a good product? Is it something that you should purchase for your personal DIY computer? Well, that depends. As usual, when it comes to computer components, it depends. So the way I see it is, if you're the type of person who has a test bench, you're always moving CPUs in and out of the socket, you're changing coolers, you're testing AIOs or tower style coolers, then definitely this is something you need. And the best part is, it might be one of the cheapest components for a computer. I believe it was only a few dollars. I'll place that right here also. If you're a normal person who's building a computer first time, then I don't really advise it. I just advise you to stick to the tried and true method of, when you go to remove your cooler, after you loosen it, give it a few little wiggles in the socket and slowly remove your cooler. This will help break the pace, because after a while the pace is it's gonna bond to the IHS of the CPU, and it's gonna cause suction, like a suction cup, and it's gonna pull the CPU out of the socket. Yes, this could cause damage. This could bend pins. It could hurt something in the socket. I've had it happen to me countless times, but I've never had any damage. It's never hurt anything. It's a little spooky, that's all. You go to take it out and you're like, where's my CPU? And if this has happened to you before, you're like, oh God. And you look and it's like, oh God. But it happens more often than not when you put too much thermal paste. Now, if you're planning to leave your cooler on for years and not mess with it, then this is not the item for you. It's only a couple bucks, yes, but it's not worth the wait, especially you have all your components for this to come in the mail. This took about 3 weeks or so. I had totally forgot I ordered it. One day, it's at my door. I open the box up, I go, oh yeah, the bracket. These are both AM4 motherboards. This is a basic $40, $50 motherboard. This is a more $200-ish X570 high-end motherboard. They both work on the same socket, so there will not be a compatibility issue with this bracket. So compatibility, will it work with your motherboard, CPU, what have you? On their website, it does state that it's compatible with a certain, I think it's an AIO that's made by gelid. I was able to get it to work with the Enermax 120 Aquafusion CLC AIO, whatever. To make it work with this, you would have to put a little effort in, because the back plate for these, the brackets that actually are for your clamps, the back plate has these standoffs that come up through the motherboard, and they stand higher than they stand about aligned with the socket. So when you put this, it's going to be raised above the socket, and if you go this way, the other way with it, it'll be raised above the socket. If you let it fall downward, where your back plate would actually be out from the back of your motherboard a few centimeters, and you'd be able to bolt it in with your other brackets on the top. But these have these little channels on these brackets. These are for your original CPU cooler. You would have to sand those down, because if not, they'll just keep hitting the ridge of here. So you have to do a little bit of modding to make it work, but it would work. I got it to work, so not a big deal if you really wanted it for this. On their website, it showed that it has to be put in like this. I'll bring it closer to show you. So you see they'd be raised right here. I was able to do it like this, and it would work the same way, if anything better. But they show on their video like that. But from what I've seen, it doesn't really matter which way it goes on, because either way, it's going to be holding down the part that matters, the substrate of the CPU. If you really want to use this and you're going to be using it with your stock cooler, you're going to have to do a little bit of modding. Nothing to your motherboard, nothing that would make a problem if you ever decide to take it out. It's just these two little pieces that stick up, that actually, it's a channel that locks these into the motherboard so they don't move around. Right now on gelid.com, they are selling this, and I believe it's Arctic thermal compound. I'm not sure which thermal compound, but for like $5-6 you'll get this and a tube of thermal paste. But it's something I see myself using. I will be using it on my test bench. Do not make fun of my test bench. I know what you guys are doing. You're looking at my test bench and you're going, what the hell is he using for a test bench? All right, here, I'll show you. It had legs I hot glued, but they fell off. Yeah, I took an old PC case that was junk, and I hot glue. And I took a drill bit, and I drilled through the rivets. Took it out, took it all out. You know, once the rivets come out of the case just starts falling apart. And then I got myself a rivet gun and I re-riveted what I wanted on my test bench. So basically I kept the back side of the motherboard. This is where your standoffs would go. And I kept this part right here where your graphics cards would actually bolt in to hold them in steady. And I kept the rear I/O. This is my, my test bench. Please don't make fun of my test bench. They want, like, the cheapest test bench is like $30 and it's acrylic. It's not much different than this right here. So take a case and cut it and grind it and make yourself make yourself a test bench. The nice one, is it the Praxis, is like $200. Can't buy a test bench for $200. I'll end up fixing it. I'll put the legs on properly so that way it has a little bit of... So yes, there will be a link below for the bracket and the thermal compound it comes with. I tried it with the Enermax Aquafusion. I tried it with the Kraken. I tried it with the Pure Loop. I tried it with the ROG Ryo. No problems. I didn't have to mod anything. Just with the original cooler, again, guys, this is the issue. It's not gonna work with this unless you're willing to sand down the little channel out of here and actually leave the back plate away from the back of the motherboard a little bit. The CPU that had the bent pins, I had it on this one for about a week or two, and there was no difference. If you didn't see the video where we fixed the CPU with bent pins, I'll put the card over here somewhere. Binky says there's food. We're gonna go eat. So stay right there. Well, that was worth the break, because those meatball sandwiches were off the hook. Links down below for everything you've seen here today. As always, if you use those links down below, we do get a little bit of commission off of those at no extra charge to you, of course. Think about hitting that subscribe button. Help the channel out, guys. It's not a big deal. Hit the like button, comment down below. Did you have an issue trying to hook this up on your motherboard and your CPU? Did you have to mod anything? Let me know. Was it even worth it to you? As always, see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Oh, more videos around here somewhere. Click on one of them. Check out the videos. There's more videos. We have a lot of videos now. I'm taking my test bench with me.